If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. I watched Lindsey Graham today on Fox and Friends. He said they're communists. I'm saying that they're socialists, definitely. As to whether or not they're communists, I would think they might be.
Well, I think they're very bad for our country. I really think they must hate our country. I think the four congressmen we're talking about, the congresswomen.
There, the president continuing to attack the squad. Now, the four Democratic congressmen you see on your screen. This all started when the president said they should go back to where they came from, which is, of course, a racist trope. By the way, they're all American citizens. 3 of them, they were born in the States. Painting these 4 as socialists, even communists, has become a political strategy for the president. And by extension, he's trying to tar the entire Democratic Party. The question is it working? Well, brand new numbers from NPR, PBS, and Marist College show the president's approval and disapproval numbers are both up since he first went after those congresswomen. And the 44% approval rating, that is the high water mark for this particular poll. But more than half of the American public's poll still don't like the president. Plus, it seems like each side, they're digging in even more since the whole thing flared up. 39% of voters are now solid Trump backers, and that's up 3 points since last month. But the number of those that say they definitely will not vote for Trump, it is also up, and it remains over 50%. So here to discuss that and things 2020, Democratic strategist Kevin Chavous. And Kevin, clearly Trump thinks this is a winning strategy. And it's not just talk about these 4 women, but it's the party by extension. Nancy Pelosi doesn't seem crazy that these 4 ladies are getting as much airtime as they are. Is the president onto something here or not?
I do think it's a smart approach on his part to brand the squad, so to speak, as the face of the Democratic Party, because he knows that they are viewed as being very radical, very far left. But the truth is that they really aren't the face of the party as a whole. They represent a large faction of the party, but they're not the face of the party. Right now, I think that's still Nancy Pelosi. She's still the most prominent Democratic elected official. And until the Democratic convention, I still believe it's sort of her that's the captain of the ship. But we need to recognize that they've got growing support, and there's a reason why they were elected by large margins in their districts. They're obviously tapping into a certain sentiment that's out there and people that are unhappy with the way things are going.
You know, Kevin, this is the part that gives me agita. It's July of 19. My God, we're going to be talking about this, you and me, for 15 months. And I saw some Republican congressional hopeful in Tennessee's got Make America White Again. We were better when we didn't have them, to send them back on one side. You know the rhetoric's going to get ramped up. How ugly and desperate is this thing going to get? And I'm not just talking on the margins here. My God, you have the sitting president saying some of these things and a party that's not reining him in. I'm concerned. I mean, we don't even talk about the president said, if I don't get reelected, the whole economy's going down the toilet. There doesn't seem to be a basement we won't go below in this cycle. And again, we are far away from the general.
You're right, Rich. I mean, that is a concern that I have, too. The fact that the bar continues to be lowered and it drops lower and lower, it's not going to get any better. And I really think that the rise of the squad really is a response to sort of Trumpian politics. I think that people really throw their support behind those 4 and people that support them because they see them as at least pushing back against Donald Trump and calling him out when he uses racist rhetoric or xenophobic rhetoric or when he exaggerates. I mean, he was just straight up lying about Ilhan Omar saying that she's called Jews evil. I don't remember her saying that, and they did some fact checking.
But Kevin, aren't there better messengers than these 4 ladies in terms of pushing back against some of the extreme rhetoric, the falsehoods, et cetera, of the president? I mean, listen, I've heard Omar, and she is not without blame with some of the rhetoric she has pushed out there. You know, the president wants to make this thing a fight about race. I don't think Democrats do. They're trying to have a return to normalcy. This is not what they want. I think the president's getting exactly what he wants, and they're taking the bait.
Well, you're right. We don't want them to be the face. Look, they just got there. They've been there 6-7 months, and they've already got a nickname, the squad, and everyone's talking about them. It is kind of incredible, and it plays into his hands. But Democrats also lost in 2016 because there were a lot of the far left voters that simply did not come out. So we've got to be careful to not alienate them completely. And I think that's a tough job. And Nancy Pelosi's trying to juggle both sides here. But I will say that when he attacks them the way he does, it provides an opportunity for Democrats to come together. And we saw that. Nancy Pelosi referred to them as our sisters in a closed-door meeting with House Democratic leadership. He wants to drag it down into the muck, sort of. So we've got to find a way to elevate above it.
You mentioned you're talking to strategist. I'm curious. I said before, we're only in July. That said, next week we're going to have another round of debates here for the Democrats. How concerned are the folks who know the inside baseball that Biden's lost a lot on his fastball? I know he had to do cleanup after the last debate. I thought he did a pretty decent job of it. That said, again, he's going to be back on another stage. He'll be sharing the same stage with Kamala Harris. How good does he have to do in the second debate when, again, the majority of voters, at least in Democratic things, say their primary issue is beating Trump, and he's still seen as the guy that gives them the best chance to win those moderate voters. To that end, Kevin, how much really matters for the next debate for him?
I think it's pretty important for him. It's very important, Rich, because and I don't envy him because he's got Kamala Harris on the stage with him again, and it just seems like any time she's in a position where she's either answering questions, with the spotlight on her, or she has the opportunity to pose questions to people, you definitely don't want to be on the other side. I don't think he got a good draw here at all, but he's going to have a sort of wow moment, I believe, to stabilize things because she's closing fast, and even Elizabeth Warren, of course, she's picking up steam and has been for several months. So this debate is very important for Joe Biden to show that he still has it. He can go toe-to-toe with the leaders of the Democrat or the front runners, because if he's going to beat Trump, he's got to be able to show he can handle these Democratic competitors.
Absolutely. And again, that's next week. Kevin, thank you, my friend. Appreciate the time.
All right. Thank you.
All right, everybody, stay with us. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. RFL back after this.